Last week, a crude explosive detonated outside the U.S. Embassy in La Paz, Bolivia. 2 Marine Embassy guards were injured in the blast. 2 days later, a CIA asset in central Bolivia provided us with these images. Our analysts have identified the individual in the photo as DEA Special Agent Ricardo Ricky Sandoval, my friend. Sandoval had spent the last 6 years investigating the local cocaine industry. Our understanding is that Sandoval was the intended target of the bombing. What the embassy bomb did not accomplish was completed up close and personal. Sandoval was captured, tortured, and killed. Then his body was dumped. We have yet to recover it. Our target, the group responsible for the embassy bombing and the death of Special Agent Sandoval, is the drug trafficking organization commonly known as the Santa Blanca Cartel. Yesterday, they were just narcos. Today, they're narco-terrorists. Initially, the Bolivian government resisted the Mexican cartel. They formed UNIDAD, a Bolivian special forces unit. It didn't go as planned. Thousands of bodies later, politicians, police officers, and journalists have become an endangered species. The Bolivian government has imploded on itself. With no other options, the new president made a deal with Santa Blanca. You stop killing our people, we'll look the other way. Since then, Santa Blanca has turned Bolivia into the nexus of the South American drug trade. With their friends in Mexico, they also have a clear pipeline to the US and Canada. The only way to stop Santa Blanca for good is to completely dismantle them, piece by piece. The cartel is organized into 4 operations: production, smuggling, security, and influence. At the top of it all is El Jefe de los Jefes, boss of bosses, El Sueño.
So I gotta jump into the closed beta for Wildlands this weekend, and I wanted to spit out some quick impressions before this isn't even news anymore. First of all, Ubisoft's transparency, generosity, and execution in this beta should be commended. I mean, giving each beta participant 3 additional keys to team up with their friends is an inspired idea and completely unexpected in the current media lockdown culture of AAA game development. The beta also arrived without an NDA, which is great. It almost feels like Ubisoft is confident that they have a great game here and they want everyone to know it. So, is that the truth? Well, yes and no. PC performance was pretty bad. Until I did a little research, turned off VSync, and capped the frame rate at 60, it was practically unplayable. This is a beta though, and since I was able to get it into an acceptable state with a little bit of fuss, I think it's safe to say Ubi has the time to get it properly optimized for launch. What they won't be able to fix is the atrocious voice acting and prosaic storytelling. Like, man, the voice acting is just terrible. What accent is this? Seriously.
Supply convoy passing through the province soon. Capturing it would give my people much needed supplies and restore their morale. Can you do this?
Consider it done.
And while I suppose you can't expect something with the Clancy name on it to exhibit the very best that modern literature has to offer, I figured they would have moved on from bad guy is doing bad shit and it's up to our elite squad of military badasses to stop him. I tuned out almost instantly. My commanding officer went all Semper Fi on the opening chopper ride. Christ, another opening helicopter briefing, and I literally felt the part of my brain that processes language shut off. It's a good thing, then, that the game itself has some enjoyable moments. You can play by yourself, and roll with a squad of 3 AI-controlled partners who you direct through a simple command wheel, or you can get together with friends and strangers in private or public matchmaking. While public matchmaking was as easy as a single button press, setting up anything more complex than that requires you to navigate a not uncomplicated menu system multiple layers deep. This applies to other areas of the game as well, such as upgrading your skills, modifying your weapons, or even just selecting a story mission from the map. It's just as bad, if not a little worse than, the Division's incredibly busy menus. Vehicles control like a set of dentures with inadequate bonding. It doesn't help that most of the roads are made of dirt, and if you're using a keyboard and mouse, God help you.
Plane's destroyed. We gotta fall back.
Combat is pretty satisfying. There's an emphasis on stealth, which is appropriate for a Ghost Recon title, and it's objectively awesome to jump out of a helo with your friends, use binoculars and aerial drones to mark up targets, execute everyone in an encampment without so much as a peep, and extract in a nearby biplane. It's reminiscent of some of the best parts of the long-neglected Mercenaries series. Still, I'm worried about the amount of content the beta seems to suggest. Ubisoft has made a habit of building huge, empty landscapes and then filling them up with cut-and-paste objectives and fetch quests that funnel into the same feedback loop so many times you get numb. Well, I was numb by the end of my 5-hour workout with Wildlands, and that does not bode well. Oh, it's also kind of an ugly game. It's huge, sure, but from an aesthetic standpoint, it's incredibly bland and feels paper-thin to boot. It's just so insubstantial. In all seriousness, you may want to hold out for some reviews on this one. It had its moments, but considering Ubi's track record, or lack thereof, for delivering compelling content that isn't totally borked from the get-go, holding off until you're sure this is your cup of tea is the smart move. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to visit ludonarrativeassonance.com to check out everything I'm up to, and be sure to like and subscribe to show your support. Thank you.